Hello, my name is Damien, and I am going to read to you today the story of Jean-Baptiste Marie Vianney from Stories of the Saints, written by Carrie Wallace and illustrated by Nick Thornborough. Jean was never a good student, but his teachers could see that he had a good heart. So although he kept failing his seminary exams, they let him become a priest and sent him to serve at Ars, a tiny town of just 200 people. Jean got lost on his way there, but two shepherds showed him the way, and soon he began to celebrate services. And, with the help of two women from town, he opened a home for orphans that became a model for schools all over France. Jean spent hours praying about what he should say in his sermons. His heart was so tender that he cried when he talked about even the littlest sins, like cursing. But he also spoke with fiery passion. And he lived very simply, like the poorest of the poor. People loved to listen to him preach, and they came from all over to hear him, even from foreign countries. "My little children," he told them, "your hearts are small, but prayer stretches them so they're big enough to love God. Through prayer, a taste of heaven comes down to us. Prayer never leaves us without sweetness. It is honey that flows into our souls and makes all things sweet. When we pray well, sorrows disappear like snow before the sun. Prayer is the inner bath of love our souls plunge into." When people came to Jean for confession, they discovered something else. He could read people's hearts. Even when Jean had never met someone before, he could often tell them facts about themselves that he had no way of knowing. It made people feel that God knew who they were and hadn't forgotten them in their troubles. But as Jean served the people of Ars, he began to have some troubles of his own. One night, he heard a great banging on the door of his house. "Who is it?" he asked as he threw his window open. Out in the dark, he couldn't see anyone, so he prayed to God to protect him and went back to bed. Then he heard a huge banging on the door of his own bedroom. "Who is it?" he called again. But again, he got no answer. Jean was worried that robbers were prowling around, ready to steal the beautiful robes that were used in the church. So the next night, he invited two strong men to stay in the room next to his. They both heard the banging and the knocking, but neither of them could see anyone there. Night after night, the noises didn't stop. Jean's health began to fail him from lack of sleep. Finally, when winter came and the snow fell, Jean heard a giant commotion at his front door, but this time he could see that the snow that led up to his door was perfect and unbroken. The noise hadn't been made by anything from this world. When Jean realized it was a demon that had been bothering him, he sent away all his friends because he knew that only God could protect him. "God," he prayed, "please surround me with your angels." For many years, the demons didn't give up. Night after night, they made a terrible racket on the stairs to his room. They banged on his water jug and broke his furniture. They imitated the sounds of cavalry speaking in other languages in his courtyard, or a herd of sheep running across the roof. One demon even sang in his chimney like a nightingale. In the meantime, More and more people came to Ars to meet Jean. So many that the railroad even set up a special station to reach the tiny town. Jean often spent all day counseling the people who came to him for confession. In fact, he realized the demons were most active on the nights before weary travelers arrived from distant lands to see him. One day, friends of Jean's came to town to visit. He warned them about the demons, but his friends thought he had just gone crazy from overwork. If you just eat or sleep more, they said, you wouldn't have visions like that. Jean didn't bother to argue with them. You must not be surprised if you hear a noise tonight, he told them. In the middle of the night, the doors and windows of the house banged and the walls shook as if the whole house were about to break apart. Terrified, his friends ran into Jean's room. Get up, they yelled. The house is falling down. Go back to bed, Jean said. There's nothing to fear. Very early the next morning, they heard a different kind of knock on the door. When Jean answered, there was a man who had just traveled a long distance to make his confession. And by the end of his life, Jean had heard so many confessions that he didn't preach about little sins like cursing anymore. Instead, until the day he died, he only taught about the love of God. The end.